Today we're introducing our all-new Pro Film Carrier 120 Mark II, the medium format counterpart to its little brother, the Pro Film Carrier 35 Mark II. There are quite a few feature carryovers between the Pro 120 Mark II and the Pro 35 Mark II, but before we really dive into that, let's talk about some of the differences between the original Film Carrier 120, which we referred to internally as the Pro Film Carrier 120, and now its Mark II version. The differences between the Pro 120 Mark II and its predecessor are pretty significant. For one, the Pro Film Carrier 120 Mark II is actually a little heavier. It features solid steel side plates that are black powder coated, still has a CNC'd aluminum film advance knob, stainless steel hardware, and so on. But the original Pro Film Carrier 120, again just called the Film Carrier 120, CNC machined aluminum, had some more carbon fiber composite bits, still had a CNC'd aluminum advance knob and stainless steel hardware. But the steel side plates on the Pro 120 Mark II just add additional heft and make it feel like the professional tool that it really is. Additionally, on the original Film Carrier 120, you had this hinge mechanism that you'd have to lift up, advance from frame to frame, drop the hinge. So now, we were thinking, this mechanism, it can be a little fiddly, a little difficult to deal with. It's another step. This is what we use though to guarantee film flatness, because we couldn't get the S-curve, the double S-curve design for medium format film to do what we needed it to do, until now. We've been working on a double S-curve cassette for medium format 120 and 220 films, as well as other paper-backed roll film formats for quite some time, and it works brilliantly. And the Pro Film Carrier 120 Mark II uses the same cassettes as our basic Film Carrier 120 Mark II, so they're just directly interchangeable. The cassettes just drop in magnetically, no screws or hardware required, and now to move from frame to frame, you simply load the film in and advance from frame to frame. There's no hinge mechanism moving from frame to frame. It's much faster, it's much easier, there's fewer steps, and actually the results are even sharper than the original Film Carrier 120. So when your Pro Film Carrier 120 Mark II arrives, there's gonna be a few different things in the box. You're gonna have the carrier itself, you're gonna have your standard format 120 or 220 cassette, and then you're gonna have a set of standard masks for 6x5, 6x6, 6x7, and 6x9. These masks work pretty easily. You simply slide the cassette out of the carrier, the mask slides into the side, then you put the cassette back in. Another thing that's new on the Pro Film Carrier 120 Mark II is that we have interchangeable cassettes at all. And you might be asking yourself, why is that super important? Well, there's one obvious one. So between the standard cassette, you could take that out and then you could put in our 120 full border scanning cassette. This is a brand new product, shows 100% of the border. Again, it just drops in, no magnets or hardware required. But there are additional formats that are going to be offered as well. We're working on 116 and 616, 70mm and IMAX, 828, 620, 127, etc. Our goal at Negative Supply with our Mark II suite of Pro Film Carriers is to mechanically advance and make quick, efficient, and sharp the scanning results of scanning every conventional roll film format introduced by Kodak since the year 1899. 35mm and 120 film are the bread and butter of any archive, or this is what most photographers have shot and still shoot today. But every film format is important to us, and we know it is for archivists, institutions, and film labs the world over, but it's also important for many of you at home or wherever you're watching this. Because if you're scanning your family's archives and you have some 110 film or some 127, whatever these odd formats are, even if it's not a lot of it, being able to quickly and sharply scan those negatives or positives is critical. And with these new systems, you can do just that. So in our previous generation of Pro Film Carriers, switching between cassettes was still convenient, but once you did that, you wouldn't have a mechanical film advance to go from frame to frame. But on our Mark II Pro Film Carrier 120, just like on the Pro Film Carrier 35, Let's say you change cassettes, we'll pretend this is maybe 127. Slide the cassette in, but then if my roller doesn't work, that's not so convenient. Now we simply pull the roller out, it's magnetically interchangeable, and then we have individual film advance modules. The shorthand in our catalog is FAM. So you would choose your specific film advance module, slide it into the side of the carrier, your cassette's in, your film advance module is in, and now instead of pulling that specialized format of film through by hand, you use a film advance knob, a CNC machined aluminum advance knob with knurling to allow you to quickly and easily and mechanically advance through that roll of film. Now, just like on its predecessor or even our basic 120 film carriers, this Pro 120 Mark II is capable of scanning cut strips or uncut rolls of film with no issue. Let's take a quick look at how to use the new Pro 120 Mark II, and let's take a quick look as well at how it integrates within the negative supply system. So there are a couple other accessories available that you might consider. For one, we have our light source adapter plate, which just goes right onto the bottom of the Pro 120 Mark II. Again, no tools or hardware required. And then that allows your Pro carrier to drop right on top of a light source. Here we're demonstrating it on our 4x5 Light Source Pro, but it works seamlessly with our Light Source Mini, 4x5 Light Source Basic Mark II, and our original 4x5 Light Source Basic as well. Additionally, we have our 120 film scanning hood Mark II. Just like on our Pro 35 Mark II, there's a lot of accessory carryovers between the new and previous generation. Same is true for this, or I should say carryover between basic and Pro carriers. So on this 120 film scanning hood, it drops straight onto the Pro 120 Mark II carrier. This is the same hood that's used on the basic 120 Mark II carrier as well. So we have our hood in place, our Pro 120 Mark II carrier, our adapter plate, our 4x5 Light Source Pro, and then our ProRiser Mark III. Now all that's left to do is feed film into the carrier and advance from frame to frame. All right, so we've selected our 6x7 format mask. We have our film slid in at the side of the carrier, and there are arrow marks on the side of the standard cassette to show you what side to feed the film in from. All of the cassettes for this system will have that. And then we capture the frame and move to the next frame. So the film advance module on our Pro Film Carrier 120 Mark II and our new Pro 35 Mark II is smoother than ever before thanks to the smooth running bearings we're using, the O-rings, and a few other improvements and enhancements along the way. So moving from frame to frame is quick and easy, no fuss at all. And again, this carrier works great with strips or rolls of 120 or 220 film. So the Pro 120 Mark II is also available with its adapter plate and the Pro Mount Mark II with dust removal brush. So you can buy this as a bundle, which adds leveling feet and a dust removal brush for scanning your rolls or strips of medium format film. Additionally, there are several accessories. We've shown several of those here. You know, obviously the adapter plates, film scanning hood, the 120 full border scanning cassette, which comes with its own set of full border scanning masks, no extra charge for that. So it really is a complete system. All of this is available for order now. It's also available in several different combinations and configurations, all of which typically have a built-in discount to just pass on a little bit of a bundled savings to the customer. So this is a lot of information. There will be other videos to kind of help guide you through using this new carrier and the system. All of that is forthcoming. But if you have questions in the meantime, feel free to send us an email, use the contact form on the website, our live chat, or even better, if you'd like to schedule a free concierge call with our team, we'll take at least 30 minutes or more or less, whatever works with you, to really answer all of your questions in detail to make sure you get the support you need and you're ordering the correct tools to get the job done the right way. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll be back soon, but until next time, shoot some film.